lovely to be here.
Lovely to have you here.
In the 25 years I spent in Australia, I got really fascinated by Australian labour history. And a lot of the songs that I wrote when I was over there are concerned with events and issues, in particular with Australia. This is a song about a strike that took place in 1949, and such a sort of watershed in Australian labour history. The old war horses to the left will still argue long into the night over the rights and the wrongs of it. What happened was the Communist Party of Australia had grown massively and considered itself to be in a position to seriously challenge the Labour Party for the position of leadership of the Australian working class. And in order to try and hurry that forward, they took Australia's most militant trade union, the Mine Workers Federation, whose leadership they consisted of, out on strike for an 8-hour day, knowing that although this was a central plank of Labour Party policy since its inception, the Labour government of the day would argue that it was not appropriate to introduce it quite at the moment. And they hoped that this would lead to the Australian working class breaking its illusions in labour and coming over to the Communist Party. The Labour government went a lot further than that. They declared the strike illegal, they seized the strike funds, they jailed the strike leaders, and launched a campaign in the press that came to be known as the Reds Beneath the Bed campaign, basically saying that the Communist Party was out to wreck the Australian economy, and eventually sent the troops in to smash the strike. The election came around, and the Communist Party waited for the landslide victory that it was anticipating, but instead it was a landslide victory for the Conservatives. And of course the supporters of the Labour government blamed the Communists, and the Communists blamed the Labour Party for betraying the working class. I think the two lessons that emerge from it is, first of all, of course, the obvious one: you can't trust Labour. But also, I think it also tells us that it's not appropriate for the vanguard of the working class to run so far ahead of the rest of the class that they're virtually out of sight. So this song's called In the Days of 49. In the days of 49, the Miners' Federation, they took on the big Australian backed by government and law. Chiefly sent the troops and forced them by starvation to respect the right of capital to rule by tooth and claw. They seized the miners' property, they threw the leaders into jail. Papers called it war against the Reds beneath the bed. The miners stood their ground, they would not submit to blackmail, and the cash flowed in from far and near to keep their families fed. Workers united will never be defeated. History will honour those who rally to the call, determined and resolved not to be bought and cheated, till then peace and liberty's the common right of all. Dockers, metal workers, nurses and shopkeepers, they sent cash and food, wrote letters of support to help the fight. The thing that was most needed was endorsement from the trades and labour councils, but the cowards kept their kit-gloves lily white. Workers united will never be defeated. History will honour those who rally to the call, determined and resolved not to be bought out or cheated, till bread and peace and liberty's the common right of all. who would sign the bloody same? Workers always get the blame, holding up the holy wheels of progress. Putting spanners in the works, all we care about is lux. That's the reason why this country's in a bloody mess. So live on less, working class careerists with an eye on greener pastures, did a deal with power and capital to stem the growing tide. The lesson must be learned, it must never be forgotten, how Chipley and his government stood on the boss's side. Workers united will never be defeated. History will honour those who rally to the call, determined and resolved not to be bought out or cheated. Till bread and peace and liberty's the common right of all. Till bread and peace and liberty's the common right of all. Till bread and peace and liberty's the common right of all. For that too. Can you still hear my guitar when it's unplugged like that? I'm quite a soft player. I've been living back in Glasgow for the past 5 or 6 years now, and been writing songs for an album that I'll be doing with Dave Swarbrick when we finally get it finished. And it's going to be called Red Clydeside, and it's a collection of 12 songs that I've written about events that took place in Glasgow during the years of the First World War and shortly after, through till about 1922, the whole of Glasgow was engulfed in a massive working class upheaval that came to be known as Red Clydeside. When the war was declared, the leader of the Union movement in Scotland, Arthur Henderson, went down to London to assure the government that the Scottish working class was going to do everything in its power to assist the war effort. And for that he was rewarded with a place on the War Cabinet. And this was seen by many as quite a significant achievement for the working class. We now had our own representative helping us to decide how to most effectively slaughter other workers. Fortunately, up in Glasgow there was a fellow called John McLean, a school teacher, and he was massively opposed to working class support and involvement in the carnage. He took the position of revolutionary defeatism. He said that it was in the best interest of the British working class to try and bring about the downfall of their government to end the war, and trust the German working class to do likewise, which in fact they actually did in 1918 when they brought down the Kaiser with a revolution and it ended the war. McLean was jailed a total of 6 times by the British government for treason under the Defence of the Realm Act. Twice he was sentenced to hard labour, first to 3 years, then to 5 years, and on both occasions he was released early due to massive protests. But, his slogan was "Don't sign up for war," and one of the things McLean used to say was a bayonet is a weapon with a working man at either end. So the bit that we sing together goes, a bayonet, that's a weapon with a working man at either end. Betray your country, serve your class. Don't sign up for war, my friend, don't sign up for war. You get to choose. See on Arthur Henderson, he come up, oh the working men. When war broke out, he pressed his suit and he ran to catch the train. He signed a deal in London, they ne'er strikes until the fighting's done. In Glasgow tune the work went through, tack 10 to John McLean. He said, a bayonet, that's a weapon, with a working man at either end. Betray your country, serve your class. Don't sign up for war, my friend. Don't sign up for war. When they turned him out to Langside Hall, John stood up at the fountain. What he said was tailor-made to magnify the friction. You patriots can roar and bawl, it's not but braggart's fiction. The only war worth fighting for is war against oppression. He said, a bayonet, that's a weapon, with the working man at either end. They try your country, serve your class. Don't sign up for war, my friend. Don't sign up for war. The police waved him out to there and down to Queen's Park Station. He told them plain, defend again, we'll make you rue the day, son. But Johnny didn't turn a hair, he called for a demonstration. A mighty throng, 10,000 strong, turned out against conscription. The first time that they came for him, John Kennedy meant their business. He didn't play for mercy, he said, "Give me British justice." The justice that he called for stunned money into silence. When out to hell the hammer fell, 3 years was the sentence. He said, a bayonet, that's a weapon, with the working man at either end. Betray your country, serve your class. Don't sign up for war, my friend. Don't sign up for war. The drama to release MacLean reached fever pitch in Merman. In a year and a half they called it off, but Christ it taxed him, sir man. He came back old afore his time, but he didn't seem to care, man. The "oh you can, I'm still the one" will cause you to beware, man. The last time that they jailed MacLean, he came guy close to Scunnet. With a rubber hose that's up his nose, they kept him swap supper. Let him out or keep him in, Red Clyde was ever blessed up. How why they turned the government was wheeling brawly Guthart. He said, a bayonet, that's a weapon, with the working man at either end. Betray your country, serve your class. Don't sign up for war, my friend. A bayonet, that's a weapon, with the working man at either end. Betray your country, serve your class. Don't sign up for war, my friend. Don't sign up for war. Thanks very much. I've never really thought of myself as a singer-songwriter. I've always kind of really considered myself to be a singer of folk songs who also occasionally writes. And I'll sing a couple of ballads. First concerns a fella who I think must be a serious contender for the title Scotland's Most Outrageous Chancer. A fella called James Gordon, the 6th Earl of Huntly. Again, he was jailed on quite a number of occasions because his lifelong mission was to unseat the Stuart monarchy and put the House of Gordon onto the Scottish throne. His earliest attempt resulted in him being arrested and jailed for attempting to organise a Spanish invasion of Scotland. It's, the thing to understand about the Scottish aristocracy in this period is that they were actually gangsters, right up to the king. He was like the godfather, basically. And Huntly was a hitman. And when the king took out a contract on the Bonnie Earl of Murray, it was actually Huntly who got the job of doing him in. And the king later denied all knowledge of this arrangement, and Huntly was subsequently jailed for that again. But this ballad appears to relate to events late in his life when he organised an uprising in the north of Scotland that resulted in the death of several nobles, as these gangsters were called, including a certain Sir Charles Hay. And Geordie is to be beheaded. But he sends word to his wife, who comes to plead for his pardon. She has the foresight to bring her Menzie, that's spelled M-E-N-Z-I-E, it's an old Scots word, and it means a squad of heavies, basically. So things are not going well until the squad of heavies come into the court. Then the king goes into damage control mode very quickly. This is Geordie. There was a battle in the north, and nobles they were money, and they killed Sir Charlie High, and bit the wife on Geordie, but he has written a lang letter, and sent it to his lady, saying ye mun come up to Britain, to see what words of Geordie, when first she looked the letter on. She was baith red and rosy, she hadna read a line or twa, till she wallowed like a lily, cargetted me, my good grey steed. My Menzie, oh gae wi me, and I will neither eat nor drink, till in Britain shall see me. Mounted upon her good grey steed, her Menzie oh gaed away her, and she did neither eat nor drink, till in Britain did see her, and first appeared the fatal blow, and signed the axe to eat him, and Geordie coming down the stairs, with bands of iron upon him, though he was chained and fetters strang, of iron and steel sae heavy, there was no one in all the court, sae braw a man as Geordie. Oh, she's down on her bended knees, oh, what she's pale and weary. Oh, pardon, pardon, noble king, and gie me back my dearie. A hae-born 7 sons, babe, a Geordie dear. The 7th ne'er saw his daddy. Oh, pardon, pardon, noble king, but away, fool lady, but gar bid the heathen man make haste. Your king replied full lordly, oh, noble king, tak all that's mine, but gie me back my Geordie. Gordons came and the Gordons ran, and they were stark and steady, and I the word among them all was Gordons keep ye ready. But an aged lord at the king's right hand said, noble king, but hear me, gat her till down £5,000, aye, and gie her back her dearie. Some gied her merks and some gied her pounds, some gied her dollars money, and she's till down £5,000, and she's got again her laddie. She blinked light in her Geordie's face, said, dear, I've bought thee, Geordie, there should have been bloody bouts on the green, ere I forsook my laddie. He clasped her by the middle sma, and kissed her lips, her rosy, the fairest flower o' womankind, is my sweet bonny lady. This is another ballad where nobody gets killed. The Prozac must be finally kicking in.
Oh,
This is a ballad from Glasgow, but it's much older than the city of Glasgow. It's a rural song from Glasgow, before the days that Glasgow was industrialised, and tells the story of a young woman, and she has two lovers. One is a tinker and the other is a fisherman. She upsets the tinker by getting married to the fisherman, and while they're away on their honeymoon, the tinker is coming to terms with the fact that he's just been dumped. And then he begins to realise that the situation is not quite so bad as he first imagined, because by the very nature of the fisherman's work, he's going to be away from home all night, at least 5 nights a week, which the tinker decides is a situation he can live quite well with. Of course, as luck would have it, the very night he goes round to visit her is the very night the fisherman comes home early. Nothing for the tinker to do but hide up the chimney, which turns out to have been a bad move. The chorus goes, dum dum hi-derry-do. You don't need a practice of that, do you? I'll sing ye a song that'll please you right well, concerning a lassie in Glasgow did dwell. 12 lovers she had, and she often confessed she couldn't tell which of them she loved the best. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. Oh, now one was a tinker, a stout roving blade, the other by fishing did earn his bread. Jock was the first that did marriage proposed, so he and the tinker they did become foes. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. Now Jock and his bride up to London did go, and there they got married, I'll have you to know. The tinker he watched by night and by day, he paid her a visit when Jock was away. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. And when he to the fisherman's house did repair, she made him quite welcome as soon as he got there. She said, Jock is away, keep fetches a dram, we'll make ourselves happy this night if we can. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. And by gentle persuasion he gained her consent. The tinker and her up together they went into a fine room the hour to pass, in sweet conversation and drinking their glass. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. But at midnight a rapping that came to the door said she it's a rap of my husband, I'm sure. What will we do this night if he come? The best thing I know is to hide in the lum. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. So well in the lum, right fast he did stick. He thought to himself she was playing him a trick. Well, get to the door and she'll let her Jock in. Said she, my dear man, you're soaked to the skin. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. Jock kindled the fire, now this is the joke. While in the lum was near stifled with smoke, down he come tumbling, gain a wild roar, and Jock in a fright he fell flat on the floor. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. Well, took to his heels and away did run, sick with the smoke and he got in the lum. When Jock come to in the house he did reel, saying, no my dear wife, I've just met the devil. Oh dum, dum, hi-derry-do. Now Jock and his wife in love do agree, well never came back his old sweetheart to see. Jock never grumbles when hame he does come, for fear of the devil that came down the lum. Derry-dum, dum, hi-derry-do. I wrote this song for, well, it's actually two songs that I'll string together for a play that was being produced in Australia for Sydney Workers' Theatre. It was going to be a great play, but unfortunately, like so much during the late 1980s, the funding for Sydney Workers' Theatre got slashed, and the play didn't ever end up coming to production, but I ended up with these two songs, so always not lost completely. At least from my point of view. There was a corporate hooligan in Australia by the name of Lang Hancock, and Lang Hancock discovered blue asbestos in a little place in West Australia called Whitnum, and it's pretty certain that Lang Hancock was fully aware of the dangers of exposing people to that toxic substance can result in a lung condition called asbestosis. And he placed ads in newspapers all over Europe advertising the opportunity to come to the sun-drenched workers' utopia that was Whitnum, to be an asbestos miner. And the deal was, if you signed a contract to mine asbestos for 2 years, the Australian government provided you with assisted passage. And many people from remote parts of Italy in particular took advantage of the offer, and now tragically asbestosis suffers. It's a documented fact that anyone who tried to leave before their 2 years was up was tracked down by the West Australian police and forcibly returned to Whitnum. The first song's called Blue Murder. The chorus goes, day in, day out, every day they drive us harder. Day in, day out, and getting away with blue murder. Followed with a song called He Fades Away, with someone watching a loved one slowly dying from asbestosis. They said it's easy money in a full-page ad in a local rag. Always nice and sunny, come on lad and pack your bag. Off to West Australia, leave the old hometown behind. Be a winner, not a failure, there's money to be made in the Whitnum mine. Day in, day out, every day they drive us harder. Day in, day out, they're getting away with blue murder. They took me to my quarters, a stinking bed and an Alton shed. I got my working orders with a lamp and a tin hat on my head. Day in, day out, every day they drive us harder. Day in, day out, they're getting away with blue murder. My girl, she's a cook and cleaner, she works all day in the canteen hall. 6 days since I've seen her, some don't have no girl at all. Day in, day out, every day they drive us harder. Day in, day out, they're getting away with blue murder. She sweeps the fine blue dust up, she tips it into an old wool pack. Never had a check-up, if she did she'd get the sack. Day in, day out, every day they drive us harder. Day in, day out, they're getting away with blue murder. I feel my health is failing, I work all day in the killer dust. The kids play in the tailings, the boss says work and work I must. Day in, day out, every day they drive us harder. Day in, day out, they're getting away with blue murder. There's a man in my bed, I used to love him. His kisses used to take my breath away. There's a man in my bed, I hardly know him. I wipe his face and hold his hand and watch him as he slowly fades away. And he fades away, not like leaves that fall in autumn, turning gold against the grey. He fades away, like the blood stains on the pillowcase that I wash every day. He fades away. There's a man in my bed, he's on a pension, although he's only 50 years of age. The lawyer says we might get compensation in the course of due procedure, but he wouldn't say for certain at this stage. And he fades away, not like leaves that fall in autumn, turning gold against the grey. He fades away, like the bloodstains on the pillowcase that I wash every day. He fades away, and he's not the only one who made the trip so many years ago to work the Whitlam mine. So many young men old before their time and dying slow, they fade away. Wheezing bag of bones with lungs half plugged and filled with clay, they fade away. There's a man in my bed, they never told him the cost of bringing home his weekly pay. When the courts decide how much they owe him, how will he spend his money when he lies in bed and coughs his life away? And he fades away, not like leaves that fall in autumn, turning gold against the grey. He fades away, like the bloodstains on the pillowcase that I wash every day. He fades away, not like leaves that fall in autumn, turning gold against the grey. He fades away, like the bloodstains on the pillowcase that I wash every day. He fades away. I'm not quite sure quite what to do after singing a song like that, whether I should instantly try to lighten it up or what. So I will. I'll sing a song about a campaign. Well, I'll sing a couple of songs from the Govan Hill pool campaign. Have you had any reporting about what took place in Govan Hill over the past 5 months?
Just read the CD code, that's it.
And I didn't bring a CD player with me, so
well, in Scotland we're the talk of the steamy, as they say. What happened was 6 months ago, the Glasgow City Council, without any consultation with the local people, announced that it was closing an old Edwardian swimming bath in our area, and the area that I live in, Govan Hill, is part of the Shettleston constituency, which is number 10 on the list of most deprived areas in Europe. And the people there felt, and quite rightly so, that this was just the most recent in a long list of grievances that they have with both the government and with the council over closure of facilities. A lot of people feel that Govan Hill's been turned into a ghetto. And so a few days before it was due to close, 35 local residents chained themselves inside the pool and refused to leave, and we kept the occupation going, rotating people, of course, but the council was not aware of that. We were sneaking people in and out for about 5 months. I think they thought it was the same, you know, like I think they thought when they finally got them out, they'd have big beers and they would be sort of dragging on the ground. But it's been a marvellous, marvellous campaign, and it's really politicised the whole area. You might be aware that Shettleston was officially the lowest turnout in the election just recently. Well, Govan Hill, I think Shettleston, it was about 30 32% of the population actually turned up to vote. In our area, in Govan Hill, it was one of the highest in Britain. So that's how, you know, so I think that's a kind of indication of how politicised the folk there have become. But we're now calling for the resignation of the council leader, Charlie Gordon, because well, 3 weeks ago, the council ordered the police in to clear us out. We called on the residents of Govan Hill to defend the picket line and the occupiers. The police arrived at 5:30 in the morning. There were about 40 of them. They quickly realised that they had taken on much more than they could chew, and reinforcements were sent for through the day. By 6 o'clock in the evening, there were 600 of us outside the pool and 250 of them. And we fought them from 5:30 in the morning until midnight, when they eventually got the steel shutters up in place on the window, and Govan Hill Pool now looks like any other derelict building in Glasgow. But we're still continuing the campaign, we're not finished yet. But one of the things that we've done to raise money and awareness about the campaign is, first of all, we produced a songbook, and it's now grown into a CD. I've got copies of it here. We're selling them for £8 each, and all the money's going to the full campaign. Just daft wee songs, but you might want to sing along for this one. You probably know the tune. The words, the new words go like this. This pool is my pool, this pool is your pool, but we'll have nae pool if we're no careful. They want to close it, but we oppose it, 'cause this pool belongs to you and me. Try it. This pool is my pool, this pool is your pool, but we'll have nae pool if we're no careful. They want to close it, but we oppose it, 'cause this pool belongs to you and me. On Monday morning I woke up steaming, nae iron brew no, and it was teeming. I would be sorted if I was swimming, but this pool has been shut down to you and me. This pool is my pool, this pool is your pool, but we'll have nae pool if we're not careful. They want to close it, but we oppose it, 'cause this pool belongs to you and me. The doctor told me I had to get fit, or I'd be up for the cheerio chit. To the pool I'd gone up, but I was scunnered, 'cause my pool had been shut down to you and me. And I said, this pool is my pool, this pool is your pool, but we'll have nae pool if we're not careful. They want to close it, but we oppose it, 'cause this pool belongs to you and me. Take Cathcart Road up to the Milk, past the Glasgow nearby. Take Cathcart Road up to the Milk. There's some that fret while others sulk, but here in Calder Street we're bolder. We say this pool belongs to you and me. This pool is my pool, this pool is your pool, but we'll have nae pool if we're not careful. They want to close it, but we oppose it, 'cause this pool belongs to you and me. Aye, this pool belongs to you and me. Aye, this pool belongs to you and me.
Owen, the Saints.
Yes. Amongst the reasons why we're arguing so strongly that the pool shouldn't be shut is that we have 35% of the population in our community are Asian Muslims, and the women require secluded swimming. And the two alternatives that are on offer is either to go to the Gorbals leisure complex or to go over to Bellahouston, both of which require travelling on two buses. There's no direct bus from Govanhill to either of them, and they're both surrounded by a big glass wall. So it's out of the question for the Muslim women to swim there, so they are effectively unable to swim at the moment. So we're taking that issue to the Race Relations Tribunal, and hopefully we'll get a result there. Also, there are nearly 400 households in Govanhill which, astonishingly for the 21st century, have no bathroom facilities in their houses, so they're expected to travel on two buses to get a wash, either to the Gorbals or to Bellahouston. So this is a wee song that I wrote because we've been having what we call lightning occupations, where we occupy a council facility. Recently we took over the city chambers and held an aerobics class in it, because the council had said the people of Govanhill are just going to have to get used to the fact that they'll have to go elsewhere for their exercise. So we held it in the council chambers. But a song that we often sing when we're going English. It's a long way to Bellahouston when the winds want to swim, and it's 3 miles to the Gorbals if you want to use the gym. So listen, Charlie Gordon, get your horn out o' the till. We don't want to go to Bellahouston, we want a pool in Govanhill. I'll just finish off the Govanhill Pool trilogy with a song that spells out what all the issues are, and set to the magnificent melody of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. It's called In Govanhill It's Getting Grim. And then I won't mention the pool for the rest of the night. In Govanhill it's getting grim. Oh, I should tell you that the head of the council is a fellow called Charlie Gordon, so the references to Charlie Gordon. He's the guy that nicked the pool. In Govanhill it's getting grim, the council says we can't swim. If they will nae do our bidding, we'll put the council in the midden. People power is gonna rule, gie us back our swimming pool. Your bit was nya 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 nya. In Govanhill we do our maths, 400 families with baths. How are they gonna get the cash for a 2-bus ride to hae a wash? Says Charlie Gordon, with a wink, they can steep their feet in the kitchen sink. Nya 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 nya. My Asian neighbour said to me, to swim she must have privacy. Gorbals pool might be the bastion, but the big glass wall puts it out the question. For our whole community, we fight in solidarity. Nya 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 nya. For old men in battered Sunday suits, for wains and shorts and welly boots. If you haven't got a motor car, Bellahouston's awfully far. But Charlie, that won't trouble you, you've got a BMW. Nya 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 nya. Thanks very much. Okay, I'll finish off with this song. This is a ballad again. When Francis James Child was compiling his marvellous collection that he titled The English and Scottish Popular Ballads, he unfortunately omitted to collect the tunes from most of them. So This is an attempt at a setting for a Scots version of the ballad Brown Adam. Story of a banished man who lives out in the forest with his wife. He's a blacksmith. Banished.
Funnily enough.
And one day he's out hunting when he has a premonition that things are not well at home. And he's right. Turns out there's a knight who, first of all, is trying to seduce and then later threatening to rape his wife. So in true ballad fashion, he amputates his fingers. No, his own. The knight's. Brown Adam. How always wish for the wind to blow, or the green leaves for their width. All would wish for a leeler love than Brown Adam the smith. For his hammer's all the beaten goud, his anvil is all the steel. His fingers white, they're mighty light, and he blows at his bellows wheel. But they have banished him on Brown Adam, they father and they mother. They banished him on Brown Adam, they sister and they brother. And they banished him on Brown Adam, they the floor of his skin. He made him a bower in the get green wood between his lady and him. And it fell out upon the day Brown Adam he thought lang. He would have wanted a greenwood gang, he hunt some venison. And he's ta'en his bow upon his arm, his brand unto his hand. He's a wanted a greenwood gang as fast as he could run.
I got you.
Now he shot up and he shot down the bark upon the thorn. He sent to tend his lady gay, telling her he'd be hame in the morn. And he shot up and he shot down the bark upon the briar. He sent to tend his lady gay, telling her he'll get cheer. But it was then that thoughts they come into his head as he rode out on his way. Some evil in his absence might befall his lady gay. And when he came to the lady's bower, he tarried a little forby. There he saw a posh young knight come to tempt his fair lady. First he's put a gold ring, it was set with a costly stain. Grant me love, oh love lady, and this shall be your aim. Well, the Lou Brown Adam wheel, she said, oh what that he was me. Oh, wouldn't I give Brown Adam's love for all the gold you could be. And then he put out a purse of gold, it was full right up to the string. Grant me love, oh love lady, and this shall all be thine. Well, the Lou Brown Adam wheel, she said, oh what that he was me. Oh, wouldn't there be a likely man for all the gold you could be. Then he put out a lang brand, he held it up to your chin. Grant me love, oh love lady, or through you this shall win. And sighing said this lady gay, Brown Adam he tarries lang. Up and jumped young Brown Adam, he cried, lady, I'm here at your hand. And he's made him leave his ring and his gown, he's made him to leave his brand. He made him to leave a far finer thing. have a fingers of his right hand.
What mutilation?
Thank you, Alistair, for that fantastic
Still
first
putting the
half.
record out.
Huh?
You still reckon it's a record? 3 ballads, no deaths.
Oh,
Only just some amputation.
so
Well, exactly. So,
injuries.
no, I think there's 3 ballads.
Serious
to do that.
injuries.
Actually, no, there was one. Charlie Hay, George.
All right, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was before the ballads now.
Right. Right, we're going to have a quick beer break. Back here in about 10 minutes for the second half, so just chill out.
Alright.
Oh, that's all right.
You are
It's
forgiven.
just one of those things in the 21st century.
Turn your bloody phones off, will you?
I turned mine off.
In a longer version of the ballad,
Which library drag show.
The answer is November,
sorry?
when the pub closes.
I'm not quite sure what the question was.
You were asking for when to finish, that was all.
Oh, right. Is it really complete? Yeah.
I can't still.
No, I've only come. I've been here for 6 years and it's not closed yet.
I got to leave on Monday.
Living in Australia and a bit nostalgic about Glasgow. It's been well and truly knocked out of me. A song's called Among Proddy Dogs and Pigs.
Oh.
As a child I was raised on salted oats and tales of the savage past. I learned to love the drifting rain and winter's icy blast. And all day long on the Holy Isle, far out in Lamlash Bay, I walked the hills in creaking shoes where the bones of the young ones lay. And at night the head of Wallace bled on solemn laurel race, and the flower of Scotland bloomed again among Croydon and Pigs. I was taught in school how Britannia's fools forced on the Scots of all, bought and sold by a parcel of rogues, a handful of English gold. Now the fate was sealed on the Loddon field when the blood of the clans ran down through the twisted sea of history to the streets of Glasgow town, where at night the head of Wallace bled on solemn floral parades, and the flower of Scotland bloomed again among Croydon and Pigs. On the long summer nights when the northern lights on the sky like a settling, the broads and tykes they fought on the dikes that ran in the housing steam. With sticks and stones we broke our bones for the sake of the good old cause that was kept our country bound and chained under British laws. But at night the head of Wallace bled on solemn floral drapes, and the flower of Scotland bloomed again among Croydon and Pigs. And the old men lilt how the blood was spilt on the banks of the River Boyne. 300 years of hate and fear, clutched like a miser's coin, and the Tybrook and the Parkhead too, on the first day of the year. See full-grown men drag it all out again while the fans on the terraces cheer. But at night the head of Wallace bled on solemn floral drapes, and the flower of Scotland bloomed again among Croydon and Pigs. Oh, at night the head of Wallace bled on solemn floral drapes, and the flower of Scotland bloomed again among Croydon and Pigs. At night the head of Wallace bled on solemn floral drapes, and and the flower of Scotland bloomed again among groggy dogs and caves. Just thinking about the events that have been taking place in North Belfast that Carol was singing about before. I'd always thought that Orangeism was something that was imported into Glasgow, because I don't know if you're aware of the sectarianism in Glasgow is fairly rampant. I'd always thought that Orangeism was something that was imported into Glasgow with the influx of Irish immigrants in the 19th century. I was quite amazed when I was reading a book by a fellow called James D. Young, who's written sort of Scottish equivalent to E.P. Thompson's classic Making of the English Working Class, The Rousing of the Scottish Working Class by James D. Young is quite a revelation. And I discovered that Orangeism actually, that the Orange Order formed in Scotland before there was an Irish Orange Lodge. It formed in Scotland in 1822 under the patronage of the Duke of Gordon. And while, yeah, him again. While its primary function was to act as a vigilante disciplining force on the Irish population in Glasgow, its secondary function was that it was used to back up the police in their efforts to smash the growing movement for parliamentary reform. It was sweeping central Scotland at that time. So the movement to win the vote for the working class was, of course, opposed by the Orange Order. In England, the equivalents were the church and king mobs, but in Scotland it was the Orange Order. But of course, they failed in their mission, and working class men, at least, got the vote in 1832. But matters came to a head in 1831, just before the Reform Act was passed, when a group of Orangemen fired into a peaceful parliamentary reform rally in Girvan on the west coast of Scotland, and several people were killed, and the police looked on and did nothing. And it was with all of that in mind that I watched a crowd of Rangers supporters going into Ibrox Park with their Union Jacks and their red hand flag. I mean, how anybody could support a football team who has amongst its memorabilia, its regalia, the red hand. You know, these are the people that are actually at the spearhead of this attack on the Catholic population in North Belfast at the moment, and they're the people that were responsible for the bombs that were thrown at the children. And Rangers Football Club, to its shame, allows its fans to include red hand regalia in the stuff that's sold outside Ibrox Park on the official sales stands. It was with all that in mind that I watched a bunch of Rangers fans going into Ibrox Park on Drake afternoon in Glasgow, and I'll sing this one for my two friends, Jürgen and George, who've come from all the way from Munich to be here tonight. They asked me to sing this song, so I'll sing it. It's called By Ibrox Park.
Thanks.
Just orientate myself. Okay. Driving down by Ibrox Park one grey November afternoon, where concrete tower blocks, grim and dark, defy the sun and the moon, I saw a host of working men make their way decked in empire blue, and I thought about when it all began in to bang the drum and wave the flag. Let them know who's king of the pile of slag. Though poverty sits at our door, with our jaw like some ill-throcked dog, we'll make it cower in the golden hour, when we go marching around the bar. Carried back in a waking dream, I heard the strains of a reform song, out from a past thick as clotted cream. I saw them marching strong, workers bent on liberty, circled round by the orange crew, drunk with hatred and bigotry, and the old red, white and blue. Bang the drum and wave the flag. Let them know who's king of the pile of slag. Though poverty sits at our door, with our jaw like some ill-throcked dog, we'll make it cower in the golden hour, when we go marching around the bar. Snail pace slow through the human sea, I inched my way past the fit Boston, with half a mind lost in reverie, on days gone far from hand. Take Girvan Street's 1831, the Duke of Gordon, he paid the fee, and hired thugs from the Orange clan, made reformers' blood run free. Bang the drum and wave the flag. Let them know who's king of the pile of slag. Though poverty sits at our door, with our jaw like some ill-throcked dog, we'll make it cower in the golden hour, when we go marching around the bar. Driving down by Ibrox Park, a wave of sadness, it drenched my soul. From concrete tower blocks, grim and dark, come sights I can't thole. In childhood dreams I've scaled the wall, we'll schemed by empires to hold us back. And my head down falls, watching talents draw, convoy a Union Jack, storm the drum and burn the flag. Tell them what to do with a pile of slag. They may will slumber in poverty, or feed our bairns towards ill-throcked dog. Let maesters cower in the golden hour, when we come marching out frae the bog. Let maesters cower in the golden hour, when we come marching out frae the bog. One of the most important things about Red Clydeside was it cut right through all that sectarianism that Catholic and Protestant fought side by side against not only the war effort, but the exploitation of the wartime racketeers. A lot of folk might get the impression that Red Clydeside was a kind of blokey affair, but in actual fact the women of Glasgow played a massive role in it, because it was the women who led the Glasgow rent strike of 1915. The population of Glasgow had massively increased as a result of it becoming a centre of wartime production. This produced a housing shortage, and the landlords in Glasgow took the opportunity to begin to drive up rents, so much so that the poor could no longer afford to pay these massively inflated costs and were being evicted and out into the street, and their things were being sold off to pay what they owed. And a wee woman from Govan by the name of Mary Barber, member of the ILP she was, she decided that she was going to do something about it, so she made a poster which she put up in her window saying, "I am not paying increased rent," and she convinced her neighbours to do the same. And soon these posters were up in every window in Govan. And when the factor, the landlord's agent,
You started already so much more.
when,
No, continue, yeah.
Get his drink.
Oh,
well, wait till you sorted it out, George. When the landlord's agent came around to either collect the rent or to effect the eviction, the women on a signal from Mary would leap out on him from out of the steamy, the communal washroom or from the kitchen, armed with pots and pans, all sorts of kitchen utensils, bags of flour, basically beat the crap out of him. And Willie Gallagher, in the Red Clydesider, who wrote his wonderful autobiography, Revolt on the Clyde, about those days, he wrote, Mrs. Barber had an army of women who were wonderful. They could smell a sheriff's officer a mile away. Long before he reached his destination, he'd be sent in a hurried scramble for safety. And the rents came down in Govan. And the people over on the other side of the Clyde in Partick saw what was going on, and they decided that they too would put up signs in their window and refuse to pay the increased rent. And lo and behold, exactly the same thing happened. Rents came down in Partick. At its height, over 250,000 families were on rent strike in Glasgow in 1915, and the authorities were in a total quandary about what to do, so they had a crackdown. They arrested the strike leaders, including Mary Barber, took them down to the station and charged them, and then released them all on bail, which was the wrong thing to do from their point of view. The first thing that they did, of course, was to go to the factories and say to their husbands and to their sons and to everyone else, well, all right, we've been holding the fight up until now, it's your turn. And Willie writes about the day when they were in court for their trial. The factories all over Glasgow emptied as men folk converged on the courthouse. You know, the dungareed army of the proletariat was on the march. They surrounded the courthouse and let it be known that they were going to tear it down unless all those inside were released and the charges dropped. Lord Provost got on the phone to Lloyd George and said, Glasgow's on the brink of revolt over this rent issue, what am I going to do about it? And Lloyd George said, tell them a Rent Restriction Act will be in place immediately. So the Rent Restriction Act of 1915 was won for the people of the whole of Britain by the women of Glasgow, led by Mrs. Mary Barber from Govan. A wee song about, the chorus is in Glaswegian. I'm fae Govan, I'm from Govan, I'm fae Govan, and ye're fae Partick. This yin here, this one here, this yin here's fae Bridge a Weir, and Thon, that one, Thon's fae Kinning Park. There's some that's prods, there's some that's Catholic, but we're Mrs. Barber's army, and we're here today the whack, here today the business. You got that?
The last bit. Business.
Goes, cause I'm fae Govan, and you're fae Partick. This yin is fae Bridge a Weir, and Thon's fae Kinning Park. There's some that's prods, there's some that's Catholic, but we're Mrs. Barber's army, and we're here today the whack. That's lovely. In the tenements of Glasgow in the year 1915, it was one long bloody struggle to keep ourselves alive. We were counting out the coppers to buy our scraps of food, when the landlords hit the rent up just because they could. Ah, the factories were humming, there was overtime galore, but wages they were driven down to subsidise the war. Out came Mrs. Barber from her wee bit sing-a-lang. She said, I'll organise the lassies if I cannae rouse the men, 'cause I'm fae Govan, and ye fae Partick. The shares fae bridge aware, and on speaking in part. There's some that's Broads, there's some that's Catholic, but one Mrs. Barber's army, and one here to do the work. Mrs. Barber made a poster saying we'll no pay higher rent, then chopped on every door of every government tenement. She said, put this in the window when you hear me bang the drum, or run out and chase the factor, or the way to kingdom come. When the poor wee soul come round, he was battered black and blue by a regiment in pennies that knew just what to do. Mrs. Barber organised the gathering of the clans, and they burst out o' the steamy and with pots and frying pans. Say, ampy govern, and ye fae Partick. The shares fae bridge aware, and on speaking in part. There's some that's Broads, there's some that's Catholic, but one Mrs. Barber's army, and we're here to do the work. Mrs. Barber's army sped through Glasgow like the plague. The maesters got the message, and the message was nae vague. While our men folk fight the Kaiser, we'll stay home and fight the war against the greedy bastards who keep grinding down the poor. If you want to stop conscription, stand and fight the profiteers. Bring the hail big bloody sandpit crashing down around their ears. We'll no starve, said Mrs. Barber, while the men we call her in are marching off to hear their heart's blood wash like water down a drain. 'Cause I'm fae govern, and ye fae Partick. The shares fae bridge aware, and on speaking part. There's some that's Broads, there's some that's Catholic, but one Mrs. Barber's army, and we're here to do the work. Well, it didn't take the government that line to realise, if you crack down on the leaders, then the rest will compromise. They arrested Mrs. Barber and they clapped her in the jail, but they made an awfully big mistake, they'll let her out on bail. She caught the men out of the factories on the Clyde and on the cart. They marched up to the courthouse saying we'll tear the place apart. Mrs. Barber's army brought the maesters to their knees, with a regiment in pennies, backed by one in dungarees. Say, ampy govern, and ye fae Partick. The shares fae bridge aware, and on speaking in part. There's some that's Broads, there's some that's Catholic, but one Mrs. Barber's army, and we're here to do the work. I want Mrs. Barber's army, and we're here to do the work. Oh, we're Mrs. Barber's army, and we're here to do the work. Could you handle another ballad?
Yeah, go on.
As long as no one dies in it. As long as no one dies in it.
No one dies in this one.
I feel
Not a single death in this one, but
I feel
there's-
sick already.
there's a lot of psychological violence involved in this ballad. So.
My stomach.
This is the story of Tam Lin. This is a ballad that until the 1960s, as far as I'm aware, only existed in the Scottish tradition until Bert Lloyd fashioned this wonderful tune for it and anglicised it. So the version I'm going to sing is basically Bert's version with a few Scots bars put back into it for old time's sake. Tam Lin. Come all of ye maids, and you very pretty maids, oh, one and take from me, and don't go down to the chaser's wood. If I made you wish to return and return, if I made you wish to return, Lady Margaret, she was sitting in her bower, she was red as any rose, but she's want to go to that chaser's wood, to pull them flowers that grows and grows, and pull them flowers that grows, and she's staying up her. Can I start again? And she's ta'en up her silver comb, made haste to comb her hair, and she's away to that chaser's wood, as fast as she could tear and could tear, as fast as she could tear. And she had not pulled but the one red rose, the rose that grew upon the green, when a boy said, "Lady, how dare you pull the rose without the leave of me, and without the leave of me?" Well, this little wood, she said, "It is my very own. My father has given it to me, and I'll pull up a root or I'll break a bend of branch. And I won't ask leave of thee, no, I won't ask leave of thee." But he has taken her by the middle so small, down to where the grass grew so green, and what they done, well, I just couldn't say. For the green leaves they grew between and between, all the green leaves they grew between. He has taken her by the middle so small, down to where the grass grew so green, and what they done, well, I just couldn't say. And he never once asked her leave, no, he never once asked her leave. There were 24 ladies, they were sitting in the hall, all playing at the chess, except it was for the young Margaret. And she's green as any grass, oh, she's green as any grass. And there were 24 ladies, they were sitting in the hall, all playing at chess, except it was for the young Margaret. And pale and wan she goes, oh, pale and wan she goes, but up and spoke one of them little girls. On her face there was a smile, she said, "I think my lady has loved a little long." And now she goes with child, oh, now she goes with child. But up and spoke another of them girls, a pretty little girl was she said, "I know a herb growing in the chaser's wood, will twine the bait from thee, as will twine the bait from thee." So Margaret, she's picked up a silver comb, made haste to comb her hair, and she's away to that chaser's wood, as fast as she could tear and could tear, as fast as she could tear. Well, she had not pulled but the one bitter herb, the herb that grew upon the lawn, when up and stepped young Tamerlane. He said, "Margaret, leave it alone, oh sweetheart, Margaret, leave it alone, oh. Why do you pull the bitter herb, the herb that grows so grey, except to twine away the pretty little babe that we got in our play, that we got in our play?" Well, tell me this, young Tamlin, she said, "if a mortal man you'd be, well, I'll tell you the truth without a word of a lie. I got christened as good as thee, I got christened as good as thee. But as I rode out on a bitter, bitter day, it's from a horse I fell, and the queen of the elfin she did take me in yonder green wood for to dwell, in yonder green wood for to dwell. And every seventh year we pay a toll to hell, the last one here is the first to go. And I fear the toll, it's myself, oh, I fear the toll, it's myself. But tonight it is the Halloween, and the elfin host shall ride, if you would your true lover save. By the old mill bridge you must hide, by the old mill bridge you must hide. So she's picked up her so Margaret, she's picked I've lost it. Then the woods grew dark and the woods grew dim. Young Tamlin, he was away. She's picked up her lily white feet. To the mill stream she ran straight way. To the mill stream she ran straight way. She's looked up and she's looked down. She compassed all around. She nothing saw, she nothing knew. She had no mortal sound, no sound. Oh, she had no mortal sound till about the dead hour of the night. She heard the bridles ring and it's chilled her heart, it's given her a start. More than any mortal thing, anything, more than any mortal thing. And first there came a black horse and then there came a brown. They both raced past the white. She threw her arms around his neck and he didn't have a fright, no, he didn't have a fright. But the thunder rolled across the sky, the stars they blazed as bright as day, and the queen of the elfins, she gave a chilling cry. She said, young Tamlin, he's away, oh, young Tamlin, he's away. And they turned him then, it was all in her arms, to a line that roared so wild. She held him fast and she feared him not. He was the father of her child, she knew he was the father of her child. And they turned him again, it was all in her arms, into a twisting snake. She held him fast and she feared him not. He was one to God's own make, she knew that he was one to God's own make. And they turned him again, it was all in her arms, to a big black dog to bite. She held him fast and she feared him not. And he didn't have a fright, no, he didn't have a fright. And they turned him again, it was all in her arms, the door back on wall of iron. She held him fast and she feared him not. And he's done to her no harm, oh, he's done to her no harm. And they turned him again, it was all in her arms, to a mother naked man. She threw a cloak around his shoulders, crying, oh, me love, we've won, crying, oh, me love, we've won. But the queen of the elfins, oh, she cussed that young Tamlin, and oh, she cussed him good. She said, I should have taken out your eyes, Tamlin, and put into eyes of wood, I should have been to eyes of wood. And curses on you, young Tamlin, she said, you once were my very own. And when you were, I should have torn out your heart and put in a heart of stone, I should have put in a heart of stone. Thanks. Time got away from me. I'll finish off with this next song.
Destitution Road.
You want to hear Destitution Road?
Of course.
That was actually what I was going to finish off with.
Oh.
This is a song that it's a song by a time in Scottish history that sort of gets glossed over when you're learning history in school. I don't remember doing anything about the Highland clearances. If it was to be happening today, it would be described, I think, as ethnic cleansing. It started in 1792, officially. There had been a few isolated clearances before that. But basically, the decision was taken by the authorities, by the government, in cahoots with the clan chiefs and the emerging industrialists within the textile industry in the south, that they would clear the Scottish Highlands of its human population and turn the whole place into a gigantic sheep run. And in the process of doing that, the human population of the Scottish Highlands was reduced by 2/3 in the space of about 60 years. Chorus goes, there's no use getting frantic, it's time to hump your load across the wild Atlantic down the Destitution Road. In those days, the road from the Highlands either up over to the coast to Ullapool or down to Glasgow was known as the Destitution Road, and quite literally thousands either starved or froze or contracted plague and in various ways lost their lives on the Destitution Road. I'll say good night on this one, thanks a lot. The audience,
I wouldn't let it go without this one.
it's good to leave you on a cheery note. I got it, okay. In the year of the ship and the barley time, we cut our young men in the prime. The old Scottish fade was a hand in crime. The gales of Caledonia, there's a den for the fox, a hedge for the hare, a nest in a tree for the birds in the air. But in North Scotland, there's no place there. The gales of Caledonia, and there's no use getting frantic. It's time to hump your load across the wild Atlantic on the Destitution Road. The bailiff came with a written door, and the gallant lads of the 42, they drove you out in the sleet and snow. The gales of Caledonia, when your house was burned and your crops as well, you stood and wept in the blackened shell, and the winter moor was a living hell. The gales of Caledonia, and there's no use getting frantic. It's time to hump your load across the wild Atlantic on the Destitution Road. The plague and the famine were clear and dull as you made your way out to Ullapool, when you heard of a ship that was rigged to sail to the shores of Nova Scotia, and you sold your gear, you paid your fare, with your head held high, though your heart was sere, and you bid farewell forevermore to the lands of Caledonia. And there's no use getting frantic, it's time to hump your load across the wild Atlantic on the Destitution Road. The land was cleared and the deal was made. Now an English lord in a tartan plaid, he struts and stares as the memories fade of the gales of Caledonia, and he hunts the deer in the lonely glen that once was home to 1,000 men, and the wind on the moor sings a sad refrain of the gales of Caledonia. Oh, there's no use getting frantic, it's time to hump your load across the wild Atlantic on the Destitution Road. Oh, there's no use getting frantic, it's time to hump your load across the wild Atlantic on the Destitution Road.
Yeah, MC just disappeared for a minute there. Have you got that? Just hang on a minute, Scott, because I'm running the night here. I'm supposed to be playing in toilet with you. Thank you, Alistair. I'm sorry, I
Thank
missed
you
your
for
last
having
one.
me for the one.
I suppose there will be another one.
Yes!
I missed that.
All right.
Alistair, don't tell me that I have to stand up to scream one more time, okay? It's your turn.
Can't go without this.
I'm still too sober for this. You know me.
Alistair.
There's a wee fella in Edinburgh by the name of John Knox, and John was kind of convinced that he was on a mission from God to eradicate fun in Scotland. So like a 16th century Ian Paisley in tights. In those days, if you were caught engaging in what they called Buchmagandy, a Scots word, sex and drugs and rock and roll. You had to stand on this little stool in the church called the Stool of Repentance, or the Cutty Stool. A song that someone that wound up on the Cutty Stool decided it was worth every minute of it. The bit we sing together goes, I swore by the light of the morning sun, my drinking days were over. That very night I was back in town, following the ways of a rover.
Did I get old?
I've travelled east, I've travelled west, and I've been south of the border. Seldom sober, often drunk, sometimes out of order. Sometimes I've been through the law, and sometimes I've been trading. But when it's time to go off a whack, then I've got nothing paid. I swore by the light of the morning sun, my drinking days were over. That very night I was back in town, all the days were over. When we tossed for all blind sang things absent hearted, Alvin came in to look though she was fiddle-hearted, and lay me down with another girl with a head full of wine and brandy. Who gives a shite for the Cutty Stool? It's high for Buchmagandy. I swore by the light of the morning sun, my drinking days were over. That very night I was back in town, all the ways were over. I was born and raised a pagan, you could call it my vocation. I hate your Christian morals with your rules and regulations. Through the smoke of innocence, like queens will reel and spin, all down the gorgeous avenue you call the path of sin. When I swore by the light of the morning sun, the drinking days were over. That very night I was back in town, following the ways were over. I swore by the light of the morning sun, the drinking days were over. That very night I was back in town, I was following the ways of our own land.
Thank you, Alistair.
It's a dark clock.
Tomorrow, sorry, you're right. Tomorrow you are
Harrogate.
at Harrogate.
No.
I'll be there.
13th.
I'll be there.
So we're going to put a gag round him. Go tomorrow night. For me.
For 100%.
Good man. Right, number one fan there, I think. Well,
Right
I
with
think
the guy.
it's been a great night. It's been a great night. Thank you to Sue, for helping us with the flag. We'll do again next week. Next week we've got Hamish Curry from Oxford, but he's from Scotland. And he's really funny, and he's a good lad. So come down for that. What more can I say? Except I think I should give this young man here. Mr. Hewlett.
Your whole test will become a young man.
Well, maybe I'm getting older, that's why. You'll stay the same age, I'm getting older.
No, you're still 37.
I'm still 37. The paper said I was. I'm immortalising the paper now, so I must be 37 forever.
Till next month.
Keep on making more.
Big hand for Alison. Thank you for not smoking, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, and don't forget some CDs for sale here, which you haven't mentioned enough. Oh, CDs. Right then. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for now.
Thank you. Great night. It's a bit quiet now. Hang on, let's get some music on. Hang on a sec.
Wahnsinn, oder? Wir fallen, was? Das Falle. Heute geht's jetzt richtig los. Ich bin jetzt richtig losgegangen nach ein paar.
Yeah.
Sell products.
Sorry, no.
Buy products.
No, buying.
Yeah.
Is that why have you got this?
Exactly right. That's it.
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I was thinking make it nice.
I should want that.
I got you on my.
We've only printed
Anything.
I reckon it's really happy you can wait for about a few years and then give it the end.
I know music since I'm 15.
Most
Yeah,
Yeah,
look, you look so old.
Not at all.
15 years ago, yeah. Yeah, that's pretty well.
Yes. No, I respect it.
Brilliant content.
And also because the song
just 5 days this time. Married man, baby children. A longer weekend. Okay, and I got lots of good friends, the whiskey